have Sunday worship. This meeting is being okay. Sorry, corruption.
So Ruchi, I've spotlit you and you're on with our congregation, so it's easier for us to see you. Is that all right? Can you see us okay?
Yeah.
So I'll just start and I'll just say welcome to everyone to Pau Hana time. That's what we call it here, which means it means kind of end of work, or happy hour is what it means. This is a time when we gather to hear more about what's going on in the lives of people who are important to us and other things that are important to the congregation. And we're very honored today to have, is it okay to call you Ruchi, Ruth?
Yes, it's okay.
And Roby from Caican, Philippines are visiting us today. So for those of you who don't know, our church
is beside me now.
Oh, okay, you guys are right together. Okay. We sponsor or we help out as we have in the past a congregation in Caican, Philippines, and Ruchi and Roby are there. And so we're going to talk to them today about how things are going there and how we can help them. So Ruchi, do you want to say something about the church and what you do there?
Okay. So as of now, church is still working on. We still have Sunday worship, but the children ministers are stopped due to we are not allowed to gather childrens on our congregation. So we brought our children in church, but in doing children ministers, I don't think if we're allowed. I haven't consulted yet with the barangay. Maybe I'll ask first if we can help children ministries.
Hello, pick up for DoorDash.
Darren. Sorry, I'm just gonna mute. Hang on 1 second.
Oh.
And
so the children are not meeting, correct? But church is meeting.
Yes, we bring our children in the church during Sunday worship, but I don't think if it's allowed when we gather the children or doing the children ministry. So as of now, the children ministry program is not working yet.
Okay. And how is everyone doing? Has COVID impacted the village, the town?
Our barangay here had affected, but thanks God, so far our in our CTU or in our community, CTU or
community,
in our community, really thankful to God that we're all safe, and I'm happy to know that some of our members had already vaccinated, but me, I am not yet. I'm still afraid to be vaccinated.
Okay. Yeah. And
I think Ruby Jean had already gone with the vaccination, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Ruby?
I am done.
And Roby, what do you do at the church?
Last month,
September.
they'll be elected our
Sagang.
Officers.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Last na pa? Elected officers. Sa asa man na?
Sa mga
Ay, no. Last, I gathered my student support children, no, student support program, what we call it, the sponsorship, the student support is, we gathered them, but I think it's, layo, lugay naman tugang,
month
month,
of July.
Siligang. Month of May padago ito. It's a month of May. We gathered our children, no, student support program, the member of the student support program, and then led officers and sa Ruby Jean. No, Ruby Jean is one of the student support, member of the student support, and then she is our president.
Oh, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, thank you. We're very sorry if our internet connection is
Quite
really
low.
unstable.
No, it's really okay. There seems to be some crackling sounds with the microphones, but I think that's fine. And I just want also, we have Reverend Tet is here also. Do you want to say?
Reverend.
Hi, everyone.
Reverend.
So good to finally meet Hawaii.
Hi,
Honolulu.
welcome. Yes.
Reverend Arman is also here.
Wow.
Oh, there. I'm going to add Reverend Armand. Look at this. We got a party going on. Hi, Armand. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. Nice to see you again. Missing Hawaii.
Yeah, you too. Thanks everyone for making the time today. And we're just hearing a little more about how things are going in Caican, but Reverend Tet and Reverend Armand, do you want to say a little about what you do in the Philippines, what your role is with the church?
So hello, everyone. So Reverend Arman and I are both in the management team, the top management team. So I'm executive minister in charge of the ministry part, and Arman is in charge of the harder parts of organizing stewardship and money and all that. So I have to say that Caican has had a lot of challenges because it's the most susceptible to uh, tsunamis. Since it's facing the sea, and the sea is really getting angrier by the year. So we did plant some mangroves there. We heard that the government is going to create a seawall, but it might take a few years, and we're just like waiting out which is gonna work first, the mangroves or the seawall. And so we can't really create anything there on our own because the government is going to do something there. So the church itself, the structure was the roof was refurbished or replaced with a newer roof because the salty water eats at it. And I think ministry wise, I'm happy to say that you are speaking with future ministers here. Ruth Charis or Ruchi and Roby Jean Ponsica are two candidates for the ministry. They're probably going to be ordained in 3 to 6 years. Depends on the time they can devote to this. And Ruby Jean is also in the board of the International Women's Convocation, the IWC, if you know it. And so I'm really proud of these two leaders, and I really feel that the brunt of the future of Caican and the UUCP is on their shoulders. And Arman and I are trying our best not to make it feel so heavy on their shoulders just yet. So Arman, you want to say something else?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm
Aloha.
using my cell phone, so I couldn't see all of your faces, but I've seen Mike Yang. Hello, Mike. Is it Nan also that I've seen
Yep.
a while
Yep.
ago? So hi there. I miss you all. I can still remember, the time that I had there last 2017. So I had great memories of Honolulu. So in the church, I am the church administrator. So just like what Ted said, I'm in charge of the finance, of financial operations, and at the same time of the administration. So right now, I am working on the church administration module because of our new structure, which we have district offices right now. So we have four district offices. I'm mentoring the district administrators. It's like they are my counterpart in the districts. So getting them familiar with the system, the operations, financial structure, organizational structure, the roles and functions. So yeah, it's a bit of work, and yeah, we're happy that we have this program also, the UU Ministerial Formation, which Ruchi and Ruby Jin are the candidates for the second batch of the UUMF. We already had the first batch. There are 14 of them. So they are now on their internship program. So they are spread out in several congregations to do their internship. So we're opening the second batch, which Caican has two candidates. So the church now is, we're still on a skeletal operation. So we are in the office only like twice a week, very limited movements because of course, the cases. Although it's not that alarming in Dumaguete City, where the national office is located. I am fully vaccinated as well already. And we are still encouraging our people from various congregations to get vaccinated, because they have all these hesitations and fears about the the news that adverse side effects, they will become zombies after 2 years, that kind of crazy things um, spreading around. So we're still trying to convince people to get vaccinated if they get a chance. And yeah, luckily, I guess all throughout the pandemic, there's only like 3 or 4 of the members who got infected, but no deaths. They're all recovered. Some have mild symptoms. Some has no symptoms at all. So we're happy that people are taking good care of themselves, although we're hit financially because of prolonged lockdown. Every now and then there's lockdown. So people's livelihood are affected. People cannot go to work. At certain times, the government is giving some food packs, but of course, for big family members, I mean, it cannot last that long. So I guess that's what I can say for now.
I'd like to add also that for Caican, there's actually 3 candidates. The third one is Mary Ponsica. Roby Jean is actually married to the son of Mary, who's not Jesus. So, and I would also like to say that Ruchi and Roby Jean are actually officers of the district council. So they are at first people weren't used to having such young talents or leaders for district council, but they stepped up to the plate, and I really congratulate our 2 young leaders here for not being fearful of what they're getting into, and actually being so responsible with the power they're holding. So yes. And also, we'd like to know more about Honolulu. How are you all doing? We are fortunate that no one has died of COVID here in the whole UUCP. And that's a setback for why people don't want to get vaccinated. But, I don't know if it's good news or bad news. But how about you? How's everyone?
All right, thank you for that, everyone. yeah, I mean, I before I get into how we're doing, just it sounds like I thought it was just Unitarian Universalists in the US who volunteer for way too many things, but it sounds like that's also going on for Ruchi and Roby Jean. So congratulations on all the work you're doing, but it sounds like a lot. So hang in there, and as from a pastor point of view, take it easy on yourselves. But yeah, things are going well for us here. We've not gathered as a community to worship uh, since early March of 2020. And we continue to do online worship every Sunday. There's a separate, as much as we can, working with our young families to have some chapels and some other events and things like that. So that's how the community is doing from a worship or a gathering perspective. Health-wise, there have been a few cases, but no major illnesses in the direct community. Definitely some on the family members and loved ones have died, and so Honolulu or Hawaii as a state, for the most part, has been very good at. Sorry, I'm just not sure who's getting. There we go. Has been very good at vaccination rates, and were early adopters of vaccinations, and also very good at wearing masks, which a lot of the rest of the United States seems to not have, or at least a good portion has some problem with doing. So there's still like people, it's sort of second nature here now to put a mask on when you're going in and out of places and in public spaces. So it's been okay from a public health perspective. But the numbers are much higher now, or they have been really, than they were in the beginning of the pandemic. So we're watching and waiting. The Delta variant that we have now seems kind of move in 2-month ups and downs, and it seems to be receding a little bit right now. So we're hopeful that in the coming weeks and months, we'll return to some kind of sense of, I'm not sure what normal is anymore, but something approaching a bit of a safer feel. So that's kind of how things have been going for us. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. This month we are collecting in our offertory every week to support the church in Caican. And so one of the things I think folks would like to know is one of the things we're trying to do is learn more about how really we can help. Is one of the things that the UUA put out is a publication called Widening the Circle of Concern. I don't know if you saw that, but it's really, a lot of our groups it's helping us guide toward being more involved and more aware in the ways of helping, and to be more direct and understand what people's needs really are, and not just kind of make assumptions. And so one of the things we'd like to know is, you've already talked about the mangroves, you talked about weather, you talked about some other things. So what are the needs right now at the church? What are you facing? So.
To answer that.
It doesn't have to just be one person. People can chime in.
Oh, by the way, yes, we have 2 copies of Widening the Circle of Concern. We also want to tell you that we had a really good participation with the last General Assembly of the UUA, and all 4 of us were there. Oh, and sorry, I need to introduce to you, I'm sure you know LV CNS, who used to be the coordinator of the national office for partnerships. And right now in this call is Sharaine Joy Villafuerte. I'd like to introduce you to her. Sharaine, would you like to turn your camera on?
Yeah, then I can add her. There we go. Now I can add her.
Mask off, if it's okay. We want to recognize you when you're on the street. But yeah, so she's the new hire at the national office, and she'll take care of coordinate if there's any difficulties with you reaching out to Caican. Sharaine, you want to say hi to everyone?
And if you want to tell folks, give other folks, when you say the
Hello.
national office, we know what that is, but maybe the people listening, just tell us a little bit about what you do, Shireen.
Hello, everyone. Uh,
I'm pretty sure
What
you're
is it
nervous,
called?
Shireen. This is Shireen's. Is it your first job, Shireen? No.
I in UCP National, yeah, it's my
Yes,
first
in
job.
UCP, yes.
Congratulations.
But she's president of the youth in another congregation, Banay Banay Congregation. So she's used to leading a bunch of folks. Except right now she's in her second week only, and
Oh,
we only meet twice a week. So Shireen probably doesn't have a comprehension yet of the complexity of
Yeah.
this thing.
I hope
But,
not.
yeah,
That
let's
would
give
be,
her some
yeah, that would be wild if you did. Well, then welcome. And that's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yeah. It's great. So yeah, can we talk more about what the needs are sort of right now and how things are going? I mean, for everyone around the world, the needs and priorities have shifted. And so trying to get a sense of how to be of maximum service and to be a good sibling, we just want to kind of hear how to, what's going on and what the needs are and such.
Robbie Jean, Ruchi, Arman, any thoughts on that?
Well, on my part, I guess it's not only about Caican, but of course it will also apply to Caican. So, I mean, with this kind of new normal right now, we are really struggling with internet connections. So, I mean, as we are experiencing right now with Ruchi and Ruby Jean. So it's been, a plan for the national office to like have a good internet connections and our congregations, because of course we cannot all the time have all the face-to-face meetings, although luckily most of UUCP congregations are having face-to-face worship, but only limited. Here in the national office, it's like on and off. We like go back to face worship like last month. So actually last Sunday, I lead the blessing of animals Sunday. So it's October 3rd. So I lead that. It's for the first time that we do it here. So it's like I was so inspired doing this kind of ritual. So I do it in Dumaguete congregation last Sunday. So I guess for Caican as well, because the Southern District Office is based in Caican right now. It's really difficult also for them. Like if we will have some virtual meetings, so they're really struggling, where to get a good connection for them to be able to participate, things like that. And for sure, all the students right now are like home-based learning. So, a lot of research, a lot of, contacts with their schools. So I'm sure the students of the Caican congregation would benefit from that if they have a good internet connection in the church, because most of them are like, within the vicinity of the church. So, I mean, if we have a good internet connection in the church, then all the students can go there, to do the research, and, like college, they can connect to their schools for their virtual classes. So I don't know if it's really the need, if they see it as like, a priority right now in Caican, but that, me on my perspective, the way I see things right now is like we really need the good internet connections, because most of our students are online, home-based learning. So pocket Wi-Fi are not really working that good right now. So I mean, if it's like, more credible internet provider, then I guess the Caican congregation would benefit from that.
Okay. And yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think on the perspective of the UUPCC not being around for this anymore, I think it's important to really strengthen the cultural exchange, to be a good sibling to each other. The cultural exchange has to be, the means of doing that has to be brainstormed at least, how do we exchange the way we live with each other. In one of the congregations we have, which is a Kino congregation who's partnered with Castine, they explored, having a Facebook group where they just post photos and then just a small caption like, "This is how we dry rice," or "This is what my carbo looks like today," or you know, or "This is," and you can probably send like, "The snow has not been so heavenly," or something, and just to really get a feel of what kind of lives we lead, and you as well, and just being more familiar with how our cultures are different and how our cultures may enrich each other. And that's one of the ways we were thinking, although it's not working yet. People are still afraid to post like, what level of intimacy can I share here? Like what wouldn't look so foolish? They're so apprehensive at the moment, but maybe it will work for you. I have no idea. But the other thing is, structure wise, the church is really hot because it doesn't have a ceiling. The bathroom is one of probably the top 10 best toilets in the UCP network, but really sanitation wise, it's not standard. So I think that a church with a good bathroom will attract a good number of people in the first place. And if it's comfortable, that it has at least a ceiling, it's not so hot, there will be more members. So I think to enable Caican to attract more members will strengthen it and make it more independent in the future. So how about you, friends in Caican?
Yeah, Ruchi or Roby Jean, what do you think?
If I may,
Oh, Arman's gonna speak. One sec.
Yeah, I think
or maybe you can
Revset
just,
and
yeah.
Rev
They can add.
Arman. Yeah, I think Revset and Rev Arman has a very good idea about how about the improvement, or shall we say, they have a very good idea about um yeah, I think they what they say is all what we need here in Kaikan.
Yeah, we should do this more often so we get less nervous around you.
Yeah, and if I may add, the situation right now in Caican is like they're getting closer to the ocean. It's like maybe less than 10 meters from the shoreline. Yeah, because of the continuous coastal erosion. So it's very scary. There's a tree there that we used to sit whenever we visit Caican. So it's gone now for the recent, I guess, what you call this surge. It was eaten by the sea already. So it's like the church is getting closer and closer to the coastal line, which is a bit of concern for us. If the national government or the city government couldn't do quickly, to repair the seawall or put a stronger seawall, then maybe it's, the church of the Caican congregation. So that's, another bit of concern.
Yeah,
Good
it's
morning. Can I interrupt first? By
please.
the way, we're here in the shore right now, and I am going to share to you about the image or the distance of the seas. I just want to share how to do it.
There we go.
Here's the
Yeah,
live broadcast. You're on mute, Ruchi.
Oh, I
You're on
see.
mute.
Yeah, the tree. Yeah.
There, both of them. Yeah. So the tree has been felled by the storm surge. That was just hinging on like two roots because
And actually,
it
all
got
the
eroded
mangroves
and
planted
eroded.
here are already gone. Yeah, they are all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The
mangroves were
church
washed
is
away
just
as well.
there.
This is completely unsustainable location for a village.
There's no place to move.
Yeah. So what how long do you think you have until the water reaches the church? I'm sorry to ask such a scary question, but I mean it's a legitimate
I
question.
think it's in 5 years. They have 5 years at least. So
Yeah, most
um really the minister who used to live close to church needed to move to another church location, to a parsonage of another congregation, because you can consider him a climate refugee. It's really bad over there where he used to live.
Yeah. And is talking about climate change, I noticed that's not really the word we've been using a lot. It's one we use a lot here. Is that a topic or a controversial subject in the Philippines, or not?
No, we already know that we are vulnerable to climate change, as is many other countries right now. Especially right now, there's at least 10 floodings, including London, where else? Indonesia, some parts of the Philippines, all in one day. I think it all happened yesterday. So it's scary, and I think we need to um, first of all gather our thoughts and be more strategic with it rather than just be reactive to things that are happening. For instance, we were already thinking of planning where they could move, and then they said that they would rather merge with another congregation than move to places that are too far from the community. So there's another congregation that's close by, which is Nagbinlod, and they say that if the church ever gets demolished or something like that, they would just merge with Nagbinlod congregation.
And so that one would be easier to get to than, say, purchasing new land or something like that somewhere else?
Because the availability of new land is far away.
Okay. Yeah. That is it's very real. I mean, it's just kind of hitting me, just, watching this all happen just steps away from your church. I mean, yeah. I mean, what other strategies have you thought about, or is that kind of where the plan is for now? I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you said we had to think strategically. I'm wondering what else you've kind of thought about, or is that kind of pretty much the plan?
So Nagbinlod Church is actually a host to our permaculture nursery. So it was launched by Reverend Susan Friedrich Gray with Reverend Alicia Ford of the International Office. And right now it's been able to generate seedlings that have been given away to churches that can start their own little food farms. And then it's also a host to starter goatery. There's, I think, 6 goats that they started with. We intend to propagate so that we could give couple goats to congregations. They can propagate themselves and have protein available to them, stuff like that. So Reverend Arman also proposed to the UU funding panel a 2.0 of the permaculture concept, and it will be housed in another UUCP area, which is north of here where we are, about 6-hour drive from here. And it's a bigger lot with 18 hectares. I don't know how many in acres that is. I think it's times 2 in acres. And then Nagbinlod is actually in a location owned by the church, which has 8 hectares. So I think that's 16 acres. So yeah. So I think Nagbinlod is like a Noah's Ark, and so might be Nataban, where Reverend Arman plans to do the 2.0 of the permaculture garden. And I think, yeah, we have some hope that we'll be able to be more self-sustaining. And actually, I mean, I do wonder also about folks like Americans. I'm sure a lot of us Filipinos are used to you being like, you get it all together, you got it all together. But right now, we see the crisis is just, yeah, we see it here. Like the COVID rates are higher, and folks are getting hungry, even middle class, the rent is skyrocketing, and I don't know, homeless people, are increasing. So we're also concerned about you. I hope you know that.
Yeah, it's been a spiritual experience in some ways for a nation and a people to realize that the rest of the world is looking at this country that they thought of in one way and starting to realize it doesn't have everything figured out. I mean, it has a lot of things, but I mean, there's 15,000 houseless people just in our city, just in the city of Honolulu. So yeah, I mean, it's not what a lot of people think it is. There's a lot of the parts, and as you're seeing, so yeah, we're concerned about that. But our church is about how many feet above sea level do you think, Pierre? 200?
Oh, it's a few hundred.
Yeah. So at least where that's concerned, we're built into the side of a mountain. So I think we don't have to worry about that one thing for now. But
Good.
yeah.
So yes, I also wanted to mention that Nagbinlod is actually also uphill. I think it's about 600 meters above sea level.
Oh.
So
Oh wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's a good view up there. Next time you come, you
is
should get
beautiful.
there.
Yeah, when can visitors come? I bet some people would want to come, when we can.
Yeah,
Are you ever going to let Americans back in? I don't know.
I think so. I think we're not in lockdown except
Okay.
for Manila. Yeah.
Okay.
And we are happy to receive people who are vaccinated. I don't know if you're happy to visit people who are not, but I think one of the things I'm also trying to get across is that in terms of shared ministry, we if you could have more content from the Philippines, and we could have more content from Honolulu in Caican, like that would be great for at least having a solid feeling of solidarity, from across the globe.
Yeah, I think you're right. So one question some people had was, if would the UUs from Caican actually move to the other place? Like, so if so goes the church, so goes the town. Is that sort of what happens if the church is kind of being met? Are you meaning that then all the people around the town might be displaced as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a very small district. It's smaller because when we say district here, it's composed of like 5 to 10 communities. And when I say when I say district to you, it's smaller than one community. We mean that's what Ruchi was saying about Purok and Sitio. The Spanish sitio is smaller than the town. So a town might be composed of 3 to 5 puroks or something. I don't know. Arman is in the local government. He can probably explain this better. But what I'm saying is, the community around the church is only composed of like 5 to 10 families, and if climate change affects the church, it affects all of them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of sinking in. It's like kind of hit me. It's like, well, it's not just the church. That means all the people around the church as well are going to be having that experience. So in addition to, I mean, it sounds like internet is one of the main things, and then a roof and some work on the bathroom. are some of the things that you're facing that the actual church in Caican is facing. Is there anything else that comes to mind, or do you think those are the main things right now? Sounds like that is for the immediate, like this year, basically. Those are the kind of the things you'd look at in the next few months to be trying to get together.
Yeah.
Okay. People did have some other questions. So we have a habit here in at Pau Hana, which this is, to send me the questions privately so that you're not distracted by things popping up and I can kind of frame them and put them together. So some of the other questions that people had are first, whether Ruchi could talk about the support she received from the Honolulu UU Women's Federation for Education, and how that went, or do you remember that, Ruchi? Or can you hear me? Am I coming through clearly?
So Ruchi, yung pinadala daw sa inyo student support, ano daw nangyayari?
So ganito, Reverend.
Yeah, Reverend teacher was asking about the student support you received and how that's helped you.
Okay.
So as of now, in regards to the student support program, we haven't received yet the budget. I think it's still there in the national office, but Arman has requested me to have a final list of the students, and I think maybe if I can pass the final list of the student support, maybe maybe they will send us the money for the student support. As of now, as I collected the names, or I have the list before, and they are in total of it's 27, and the two of them are stop schooling, and then so we have the two.
Ruchi, excuse me, Ruchi.
As I opened this to the congregation or to the member last Sunday, they decided to stop the two students who are stopped in schooling. They decided to remove them, but some of our member are asked to if they are allowed to replace them, and then so most of us is are agree to be added, or no, to be replaced them with two, but then some of our members are asked also if it is allowed to add more students. So I accepted their idea that we will add more, and then so if it is okay to you, so we added member seven. Oh, seven.
She's not answering the question that I asked.
So I have
Ruchi,
here
Ruchi.
I make some PowerPoints about their backgrounds or info, but so to say that I think I can share it in here, but I make some PowerPoint presentation, but I think I cannot share it in this group chat,
Maybe in
but
the
maybe
email,
I can
Ruchi.
share it through emails.
Thanks, Ruchi. I think
Ruchi.
I think what thank you for all of that. I think what we were also wondering about was your individual support from the Honolulu congregation. I think that's what for your education, that I think the Women's Federation and how that went or was received. So is that right? I think, does that make sense? Am I making that clear?
Let me just
Ruchi, did you hear?
translate.
Yeah.
Katong sa imo daw, Ruchi, gihatag ba? Katong para sa imong kaugalingon nga suporta. So, unsa daw natabo? So, istorya hara sa ila, unsay imong gigamitan atong pondo.
Graduate na ka, ni teacher na ka.
Oh, mao to. Ingnagot.
Sa Reverend, wala ko kaklaro.
Oh, she doesn't hear it very well, but
That's all right.
she graduated and she became a teacher.
Oh, great.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of teachers on this call. That's great.
Understood. So as of
Yeah,
now,
actually,
sorry, I maybe updated about none regarding to my studies or your support. I know that it's the Women Federation who supported me about my schooling. So as of now, I I I finished my degree with a Bachelor of Secondary Education, and I'm happy also to inform you that I'm also a board passer, or I already passed the examination for teachers. But the thing is that I wasn't came or work. I don't have job as of now because I tried to apply or to fill the ranking of deep ed, but sad to say that I was not able to. Dahil siya damo nagadapat siya. Ay gani na rin wala na nakuha.
Okay.
Wala
So let
na.
me say it to them, Ruchi. So what you're saying is you already graduated, and because you've graduated to become a public school teacher, you need the Department of Education to give you a ranking. Is that right?
Yes.
So, but you didn't make the rank yet. You didn't make the
Wa-
cut.
I apply, but the thing is that wala ko kasunod
Wala ka kaunsa?
pa, wala pa pud ko ka take og PT. Murag wala ko kasunod
Oh.
ba rin ba?
Okay. So she lacks some requirements, so it might take her another year. Yeah. She's just apologizing she doesn't have a job yet.
There's no, you're on a call with people who are going through a lot right now. This, you don't have to worry. You do not have to apologize to us for that at all. Congratulations on the accomplishment of finishing though and being certified. That's wonderful.
Thank you. So, by the way, we have also a member of student support before that is already graduated. I don't think if I send it to Nan, but I will mention it here. So, oh no, he's supposed to be si Mac ka? Si Jufil Ray Makay is already graduated. His degree, which is a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. And as of now, he is working at Coast Guard at Manila, no?
Yeah.
He's the son of Pilito Makay, one of our member, and he is now a Coast Guard.
That's great.
And
now a Coast Guard.
also Karel Kimada Rubio, he also graduated her degree, but he's still not working yet because due to some of the requirements, he's lacking also.
Great.
But I'm happy to inform you that they are already finished with them.
Great.
So many finished people. So thank you, Honolulu, for your support. I also wanted to add that there was a member or a church leader who's had a mental health issue, and he actually had to be rushed to another city because of the stress of all that's been happening around, and they are fine now. So they are much better, in a much better place, and was able to even attend a few leadership sessions and meetings. So
Good.
we're happy to report that.
Yes, I have some, I've more than a few colleagues who've just given up the ministry in the last year and a half because of the stress. So yeah. One is selling insurance, another one's going to law school, all crazy ideas that they're having. But one of the other things we wondered last time you visited, there was a lot of work with OWL, and I was kind of curious with COVID. I'm assuming it's not really meeting or nothing's really going on, but I just wanted to know what had happened with that. Yeah.
I guess Reverend Arman has more to say about that.
Yes, after we attended the training there in 2017, we visited various congregations to offer the OWL orientation for like what parents could expect for the our whole lives curriculum. So because of what we did before, that were interested, but we didn't really orient the parents. So there was like some setbacks on the OWL curriculum. So what we did after the training, we visited various congregations to offer orientation to parents and guardians. But because it is through the proposals that we get from the UU funding program, so it is very limited. And then after that, we didn't continue with Our Whole Lives program because it was also the time that the pandemic, started to hit us here in Dumaguete. So the office closed down. So LB was supposed to be in charge, Reverend LB Shienes. She used to be in charge of that because it's part of the religious education program, supposed to be the church. But during the pandemic, so we don't travel, we limit the operation of the church until LB resigned from work. So I guess it's another planning, for us on how we can go on with Our Whole Lives curriculum, offered to congregations. But I guess it's a good thing that every congregation now, I guess there's like 2 or 3 who didn't get a chance to be visited, but majority of the congregations were visited. Parents and guardians are already oriented, and when we asked them, they said that they're willing to send in their kids if ever we offer our OWL classes in our congregations or in national. So we're still trying to figure out what we can do, but we do have trained facilitators. So Nan was one of the trainer here before. So we had a trained people here who could facilitate with the OWL training. So just need to work on the curriculum, maybe adjust a little bit to make it more appropriate to our context. So I mean, we are on that level right now. So we haven't really moved on with the RL, but we have that in our list of priorities in the coming years.
I guess when you started the OWL program, it was a time that we still didn't have the reproductive health law. So because we already have it, contraceptives are more available, and sex education is more, mainstream. So even in public schools, it is talked about. So I think it's also an asset in the Philippines that we have universal health care. So people are more conscious now about their reproductive health, and steering clear of STDs. But STDs are not really common in the Philippines because usually we don't really cruise or date like in the West. But I also wanted to say that thank you for this talk. I mean, this meeting, this Zoom. We can probably think of the UU Women's Association as a gateway to continuing the OWL program, even if it's not called OWL anymore. At least we keep talking about reproductive health rights and the whole process of moving through your maturity, sexual maturity from birth to death and all that. So Ruby Jean is since she's coordinating for the UU Women's Association and the International Women's Convocation, who's asking us for another project proposal. Maybe that can be a project proposal, right? So yeah.
Great. Thank you for that. So we have just about 5 minutes left here, and I think it would be good to have a more regular dialogue, whether it has to be in this setting or it could just be more like meetings. But this is probably a good time for people, 6 our time, noon your time, but I mean, I don't know, maybe it isn't, but we could find some other times. I hope that what comes from this, for me, at least in my heart, is wanting to do this a little more regularly and grow the relationship and understanding of how things are happening. I have just a totally personal question of like, I mean, what would it take to get the high-speed internet? I mean, we're just talking about one thing, like, is it like a waiting for the government to get the lines, or is there a private company that does it? Or can you just say more about what's involved in that process, just so we can get a little bit of a better sense?
So Roby Jean, you did have, you sought deals or options with regard to this before. So how much was it that you said we needed for the land cable to actually get through to your community?
A lot of houses here that have already PLDT, or yeah, PLDT, because the box is already available. But it depends how, if the question is how much, but it depends on how much will be the it depends on the gigabyte. Yeah. No, the gigabyte.
Yep.
That is, yeah.
So do you have a range, like in the mid-range, for instance, how much it is, like between cheapest and costliest? What is the mid-range?
But I will be but I will
Well,
ask.
we don't need the
Yeah.
numbers exactly. I just needed to, I was just curious if it's like, we're gotta wait on some big thing for it to happen. But if it's just available in the town, I think we should talk about what getting that done and being sure that it's what the payments are for a few months or for a few years and what that would cost. And if we could get a sense of that, I'm pretty sure our congregation would be really interested in making sure that gets done to facilitate this kind of talking more, and also for your for the students, because the students
Yeah.
Armand, go ahead.
Yeah. We'll try to check if PLDT, there are private companies, internet
Yeah.
provider, where we can apply. Like here in Dumaguete City, we have our PLDT internet, and we have the Globe internet. So we just go to their office and then fill up applications. So it depends on the Mbps that you're going to apply. It's like 15 Mbps, 30 Mbps. So the range of monthly subscription depends. It's like here in the office, we're paying 1,899 pesos. So I mean, divided by 50. So how much is that in dollar? Around $40 per month. Yeah, for that monthly subscription plan. And then the lock-up period is like 2 years. So I mean, you cannot terminate the contract within 2 years. Otherwise, you'll pay more. But I guess the process of application is not that difficult. So we'll just try to check if PLDT or Globe or other telecom companies offering internet services available in the town where the Caican Congregation is located. So, and then maybe they can start going there and check the application process. But here in the Dumaguete office, I mean the national office, it's not that easy. It's not that bad. It's not that hard because the offices of the internet provider are just here in the downtown area. So just go there. It's very easy. So I mean we'll just check if that is also available in Caican area.
Yeah, let's start. I mean, let's talk more. But I think if you could, we gotta sort of close. But I think if we could have a conversation over the next few weeks about, just tell us what the proposal is or what it looks like, and then we can talk about the bathroom and the roof and some other things as well. But yeah, I think for a few reasons that might be a simple and helpful way to get started. But we can talk more and kind of be in touch. There's a lot more people now who are hearing more about what is going on with our sibling congregation, and I think there's going to be a little more interest in following up and making sure we stay in touch. So I want to thank everyone for your time, taking it out of your busy day in the middle of your lunch hour likely, and we're here, just kind of hanging out. So thank you for that, and I look forward to seeing everyone again very soon. Any other parting thoughts or anything you want to share before we go?
if we could have maybe just some news about how the church is doing in widening the circle, in
Oh
that
yeah.
regard. Yeah, that would be great because we are like a hub of other exchanges as well. So if there's a good practice you have, we could say to other churches, follow this or whatever.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we've already enacted a few of the suggestions in the sort of the way our groups are functioning. So we'd be happy to share some of the success stories we've had with that. It's been great. So
Thanks. Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Thanks all.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch very soon. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.